What's going on?
My daughter is making a shake in the background. Anyway, that's what happens, work from home. Welcome to Community Talks. Today we have Adrian Ortiz. He owns the 900 Degrees wood-fired pizza place, pizza shop on Millstream, right at the Millstream Mall. We're big fans and be going for a long time, especially because my daughter loves gluten-free pizza, and you do an awesome thin crust pizza. So first of all, tell us, how long have you been in business and what sort of fare do you sell at your pizza shop?
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Jane. We've been open for six and a half years, actually. No, 5.5 years. 5.5 years. Our anniversary was December the 10th. And we opened up a wood-fired pizzeria in LANGFORD because there was really no real food out here. My passion has always been cooking. And I think it shows in what we do at the restaurant. We've now launched a new menu, and a lot of people may not know this because we launched it March 1st.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, about 2 weeks before the coronavirus hit, and so we launched a new crust, which is New York style crust, in addition to our traditional gluten-free and Neapolitan thin crust pizza. We also have organic salads, salumi, and pasta dishes made in-house. So I think what makes us unique, though, is that our dough is organic, our sauce is organic, all the veggies that we have are organic, and we really do focus on quality. I think when we opened, people really didn't understand the concept of a kind of a high-end gourmet pizza shop. People, they used to say, "What's the big deal? It's just pizza," until you try it. And then I think it's an eye-opener for a lot of people, and including you and your family.
Yes. Well, we did have our client appreciation event at your restaurant, and it was absolutely awesome. And we got great feedback. Unfortunately, it was on a dark and stormy night, so I'm sure it would be a lot different if it was happening now. But it was really great. So thank you for that. And anybody who wants to have a party, contact Adrian. We had 60 people, I think. Yeah. So what do you think about this COVID-19 and how has it affected your business then?
Well, I think it caught all of us by surprise. It's one of these things that kind of creeps up on you and all of a sudden smacks you in the back of the head. But we're learning to adapt. We're a full service sit down restaurant. That's what we've always been. A higher end restaurant at that. We're in one of the top restaurants in Canada, featured in the Where to Eat in Canada for the last 4 years. The top restaurants in Canada are featured there. Number 1 rated on TripAdvisor, which is a lot of work to keep customers happy 100% of the time. And all of a sudden, all this disappears and the rules change and they shuffle. So you have to make sense of all of this. On Friday, March 20th at 3:30 in the afternoon, we're preparing for dinner service at 900 Degrees. And all of a sudden we see on the news that all restaurants are now closed for eat-in. We had almost a full restaurant based on reservations at that point.
Right.
So on the phone, call customers saying, "Hey, we're sorry, they just shut us down." So what do you do at that point? And here's where it gets interesting. So I did have people say, "Oh, you need to shut down right now. Go home, hide under your bed, and we'll come back when this is all over." My argument is, and will continue to be, that if you are not open, you do not have the ability to adapt. If you're closed, you're going to be closed for an undetermined amount of time, and you really have no idea when you're going to be able, or if you're going to be able to bounce back from that.
So So
Yeah,
restaurants were declared essential services for takeout.
correct.
So, so you had to adapt from being, and I know that you do prepared pizzas and salads that people could come and pick up, but are you also adapting other ways? Have you
Yes.
changed the way?
Yeah, so in a huge way. So normally we have our dine-in customers, which we no longer have. We have a certain amount of clientele that comes and picks up pizzas, but we've never really done delivery. We used to use a third-party service. Um, and what we decided to do at that point, and I told my staff, I said, if you have a car, you have a job. Because at that point, what we did immediately, and it's funny because we had already been working for a couple of months on being able to process orders online and being able to process orders through a phone-based app.
What's that called?
So we're using a platform called Modern, Moduurn, and now you can go online. You can order anything online. You can pick it up, or we'll drive it to you. And we are now in the delivery business. We weren't in the delivery business before. I've been very hesitant to get into delivery before because it's a logistics business. It's not about running a restaurant. It's about running a fleet of drivers. Well,
Right.
it turns out that we're pretty good at it. And, we had some quirks, but we ironed them out over the course of about a week. And now we're delivering in a 7-kilometer radius, which is pretty significant for Victoria. I mean, that's a good part of, all of Langford, all of Colwood, some of Machosen, down all the way to Victoria General Hospital and View Royal. So, it's pretty good.
Have you found your clients have been amenable to the change and in the fact that like you can provide them with takeout? Are you okay financially?
I think our established clientele were used to pick up, and they still come in and they still do pick up. And I'm very glad to see them, and I think they're glad to see that we're up and running and still, operating. I think what delivery did was open up a completely new market. I hop in the car myself when there's deliveries to be had and we don't have enough drivers, and I'll deliver wherever the address says. And I knock on doors, and these are people I've never seen before. So that's a good thing. I think it opens up a huge market opportunity. Hopefully when we go back to normal, we'll have our regular dine-in business plus our takeout business plus now our delivery business, and that just adds on exponentially.
Right. So I don't think there's going to be a normal.
That's exactly right. So the biggest thing here, Jane, is I think you have to realize the rules have changed. Whatever was before will no longer be now. Yeah. I wish I could sit here and tell you exactly how those rules have changed or what the new normal will be. I don't think any of us has the idea. I listen to webcasts and economists saying where we will go from here. And the fact of the matter is everyone's just guessing. We really don't know.
Right.
Time will tell. What I will say is that I see nothing but opportunity these days for people that are entrepreneurs, and they like a good challenge. If you know me at all, Jane, I like a good challenge. Just in my previous professional life, I lived through September 11th in Washington, D.C. My office was 2 blocks away from the White House. When I was in Mexico and I ran hotels in Mexico, I went through several Category 5s, Category 4s, Category 3 hurricanes. I lived through the H1N1 influenza in Mexico,
Right.
which was ground zero. So I have a little bit of crisis management experience, if you will.
Yeah.
And, it's just one of these things that knowing how to manage a situation like this will either make or break industries in general. And one of the things that are really tragic about this, and I've heard some numbers now in the 50% range of restaurant closures permanently in Canada. And it's very sad to see. But people have to eat. Restaurants will keep on existing. Maybe the interaction between customer and restaurant will change a little bit. But I think people are already getting pretty tired of cooking at home these days.
I know. Well, for us, our kids are now 16 and 18 almost, and so we are actually rotating the cooking around because, and as I told you before we started, our freezer door was left slightly ajar. So I am cooking a stew today. I think it's going to turn into a chili, actually, just because, and you have to adapt, right? I mean, I could let everything go bad, or I could change the way that I'm going to approach the problem. And I think that's seriously what the issue is sometimes I think maybe what we have to do if we don't know the answers, we have to reach out for help. And we spent the first few weeks on the show talking to business coaches and how, there were strategies for adapting. What do you think is the key for your adaptation? How has your menu changed between pre-March 20th and now?
Well, it's funny because, as I said, we launched a brand new menu on March 1st, and it was literally up and running for 2 weeks before we had this whole thing evolve, right? And what we've done now from that menu is kind of see, first of all, what's selling, what doesn't sell, but most of all, are the products still available? Can we get them as fresh as we normally do? Do they travel well? So we have changed the menu a little bit. We've dropped about 10% of the products. But the biggest thing that we've done is because the supply chains were a little bit iffy there for a little bit. I think they've come back now a little bit more. But we have gone to more local products now than we have ever had before. I find, first of all, that we all need to look out for each other. And I think we all need to support local. And I mean, that goes as far as if you're gonna go to the grocery store and buy your favorite jam or jelly that's made in Switzerland, look for the ones that are made on Salt Spring Island or in the Chosen. Buying local, you can support that at your local grocery store as well. It doesn't mean you have to go out to the farm and buy it. But I think that's one of the things. And we are buying more local now than we have ever. I think the biggest thing that we've really done is change the complete strategy in terms of before, we were waiting for customers to come to us. That's changed. The strategy now is we will go to the customers. And we've initiated completely contactless takeout and completely contactless delivery. There's a technology component to that, which, as I mentioned before, it's we launched an app which is now available on the iTunes Store and Google Play.
What's it called?
It's if you go on there and Google 900 Degrees Pizzeria app on the iTunes Store or on the Google Store, you'll find our app available to download. Download it on your phone, and you can order just like you would on any other food-based app. And we rolled this out incredibly quick. Honestly, we had already started working on this in January, knowing that we wanted to streamline the takeout process a little bit more, and we also knew that we had to get rid of a third-party delivery service. Because it just doesn't make economic sense to do it. These guys, and I do want everyone to know there, if you want to support local, do not order through Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats or DoorDash. They charge 30% of the bill. Restaurants do not make money this way. Right. And I know it's convenient for customers to sit there on their phone and look at a menu of restaurants and order from there. But at the end of the day, if you want to support your local restaurants, pick up the phone and call them.
Right.
We cannot afford to pay 25 to 30% of the bill in sales commissions. That's just not what restaurants do.
So are you on that? Are you on those skip the dishes and?
Yeah, so as I said, we were not in the delivery business before. Our focus was in-house dining and pickup. And at some point, we started doing skip the dishes, and it actually took off for a good while until we started looking at the numbers and figured out that it doesn't make economic sense. And let me just break down the numbers for you real quick. So any restaurant, on average, if you're running a good business,
Yeah.
you've got about 33% food cost, so that's a third.
Yeah.
You're running 33% in your payroll,
Yeah.
so 66%. You're running about 10%, 11% in rent, so that's 73, 74%.
Yeah.
And you're running about 5 to 6% in miscellaneous expenses, which is accounting, hydro, etc.
Yeah.
Maintenance, whatnot. So we're up to 80%. That number gives you 80%. And then when you're selling to Skip the Dishes or DoorDash or Uber Eats, they're taking 25 to 30% off the top. So if your bill is $100 off of that Skip the Dishes order, they're taking $25 off the top. So if you add that onto your 33% initial food cost, your food cost is now 57%.
Right.
You're not making any money.
I think there was an article on Skip the Dishes about that, and I think if people knew the truth about that, they would change the way they order. So I appreciate you telling us that, because I think nobody wants to gouge you. And I know where did I meet? I met a guy, I think it was at Bin 4,
Yep.
and he was very busy delivering for Skip the Dishes, but I kind of wondered how he got paid. Plus, I guess it would be tips. Are you getting tips? You're finding?
And any business that there's a win for the customer, a win for the business, a win for everyone that's around it will be sustainable. Win-win.
Right.
With the Dishes or DoorDash, it seems to be lose, and here's why. So the drivers aren't paid very well. If you speak to the drivers, once they factor in gas and the wear and tear on their car, with the delivery fees and tips that they get, they're basically at minimum wage. Okay, the restaurants are gouged 25 to 30%, and Skip the Dishes in the last year, I believe, and don't quote me on these are rough numbers, they lost something like $650 million.
Get out.
So there's no one making money here. How is this sustainable? You know why it's sustainable? Because the customer is sitting at home and they're looking for convenience. And so the way Skip the Dishes is looking at this is, well, at some point we'll get big enough where we won't lose $650 million a year. Now we're losing 300. Now we're losing 200. Now we're making a couple of $1 million a year. Yes, but at what cost? At what expense? So honestly, and to everyone out there, and this, it doesn't, I mean, we're in Canada, but this goes for the US and anywhere else you are. If you want to support local, go to the restaurant, pick it up, call them, have them direct deliver. Our drivers are making more money than the Skip the Dishes drivers by driving our deliveries out to our customers. And the biggest thing here is this. If something goes wrong with that delivery and it's through us, there's accountability. There's communication with the customer, and the customer can say you forgot an item, or I'm not happy with the way this item showed up at my door, and we will make it right. We'll take that driver, another driver, and send out a substitute item. If the people, we have to understand, if there's a middleman involved, don't complain to me. You're not buying food from me. You're buying it from Skip the Dishes. I don't know if the Skip the Dishes guy dropped the pizza on the sidewalk and then put it back in the box and then gave it to you. I have no communication with the Skip the Dishes guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know what time he delivered the pizza and in what condition.
Right.
So it's important for people to understand. And we do get calls now and then saying we're not happy with this, or my food arrived cold. We gave it to the Skip the Dishes driver 45 minutes ago. I have no idea where he went or what he did.
Right.
Along the way.
Okay, so let's just talk a bit about your menu. I've been downloading some pictures here. So let me just see. Oh, I know what I have to do. Hold on a second. Regarding your menu. So one of the things that we had when we did our, let me just find it. This.
Oh yeah. So what that is, and it's funny because that specific picture, we did a photo shoot because our gift cards are actually now at Costco. So you can buy 900 Degrees at Costco, and this was a photo shoot that we did for Costco, which features on the bottom right-hand side one of our wood-fired pizzas, in the middle one of our pastas, far right-hand side an assorted salumi or roasted veggies on the left-hand side, and a nice Italian espresso on the top left. And it's funny because people have asked me a lot about this picture, and I said, well, it's basically a picture of our menu on a plate. And I think when you came in,
everything still?
You just kind of ran a buffet based on pizzas and salumis and roasted veggies, and I think people were really happy about that.
Okay, so regarding, let me just see, are you still serving alcohol?
Yes, so it's one of these things that my response to that is yes, we're still selling alcohol. We can now deliver alcohol. The law changed about 10 days ago where the LDB said now restaurants can deliver alcohol, which we weren't allowed to do before. The funny thing is here, it's one of those things that it's too little too late. It's done really nothing for our sales beside, sell the odd beer with a pizza that's going out the door at that point. Still, we're selling alcohol at this point at cost. Yeah, I remember yesterday we sold 4 pizzas in a 6-pack, and I'm looking at the cost of the 6-pack and I'm like, yep, it goes out the door for whatever I'm paying for it. So we're not making money off of that. We're really providing a service and hoping people stay home. And it's one of these things that I'm a firm believer. The more people actually follow social distancing and stay home, the faster we will all come out of this. So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's more of a we deliver it as a service more than as a business, right?
Right. So this is actually my picture of my favorite pizza here on the underneath you.
My pizza as well. Before we opened the restaurant, my wife and I, we've been married now for 25 years, and we've traveled all over the world, and we always traveled in the search of the world's best pizza. And everywhere we went, we always ordered the exact same thing, a pizza margarita. And if you want to know if a pizzeria is good, you order their margarita so you can compare apples to apples. And I'm not going to be shy to say that I think we've got the best margarita on earth. It's for people to come out and try and judge for themselves.
Awesome. Okay, so the way people can get in touch with you is they can order through the 900 Degrees app, and you can get it on your iPhone or...
Yeah, so it is already available on Google Play. I did an email a day or two ago saying that it had already been authorized to be put up on the iTunes store. So, and I checked this morning. For me, there's a beta test that I can go on, but I'm not sure if it's available for the customer. However, if you go to 900-degrees.ca and order online or delivery, you'll get a screen on your phone, and in the top left-hand corner, it says install. So if you've got an iPhone or what's that, Google based phone, you can download the app based on that little green icon on the top left-hand side. And I actually have it on my phone here, and I'll show it to you real quick. You can, that's basically it. So that's the iPhone-based one. I don't know if you can see that. Or you can go to Google Play. So if you go, take out, there you go. Yeah. It's a very friendly app, maybe not on the screen, but it's actually easier to order online or on the app than it is through the phone. So what happens is this: we have one phone line and we have one operator. So if we have 4 or 5 people calling at the same time, those people will be waiting in line to put in that order.
Right.
By the time they get to us, maybe 5 minutes have passed, and they're upset. Why are you not answering the phone? Well, because we have one phone line, we have one operator. This is not what we normally do. However, if you go online, it'll take you less than a minute to put in an order, and by the time you're done with it, somebody on the other end would not even have answered the call. So what we're doing right now, even if you call the restaurant right now, it'll say, thank you for calling 900 Degrees. We are now doing all of our takeout and delivery orders online. Please visit www.900-degrees.ca. And if you have trouble placing an order or are unable to, press 1, and then we'll answer the phone and figure out what the technical issue is. But we are trying to migrate everyone online, and it's not because we don't care about customers. On the contrary, we want to make the customer experience better, and I think technology is a huge help for this.
Right.
So hopefully people understand that and give it a shot.
Yeah, and I think just in closing, like when I think about what happened 100 years ago with the Spanish flu and what's happening now, and just the fact we don't have to handle money, we don't have to be close to one another to prepare our food, we can have people deliver it to us. I think that's one reason why we will be able to manage this if we are socially responsible and maintain our distance while we're being asked to by our government. So
absolutely. Just to finish here, let me just say, I heard 2 pieces of news yesterday that were completely contradictory, but I found them just fascinating. On a sad note, after 50 some years of operating, Vesuvio Pizzeria in Toronto closed.
I love Vesuvios.
They're done. Because they were not able to adapt. They just were not able to adapt. And you can go online and, they'll explain to you exactly what happened. And, it was a combination of their sales fell 70%, and, our sales have been similar. But their staff, didn't want to come into work. And we've had this case before, and I tell people, if you're not comfortable coming into work, stay at home. We'll manage somehow. But at the same time, there's a new restaurant that launched in Toronto in the same neighborhood during the COVID-19 crisis. And they're up and running, and they've actually said that their sales over the last couple of days have exceeded expectations. So you have one restaurant that's been in business for 50 some years, which is closed during this crisis. And you have another restaurant which is brand new in the same neighborhood opening during this crisis. How can these 2 coexist in the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
The short answer is strategy.
Right.
And being able to adapt. So as I said to you, I think we had a conversation just before the webcast here. I said Einstein once said that out of chaos comes, or in every chaos, there's huge opportunity. It's just being able to identify where the opportunity lies.
And be a friend of mine.
I'm sorry?
And be a friend of mine, and also, they call it social capital, but I mean, you have 3 comments here on your site on the webcast about how great your pizza is. So that's a positive. And every time I've seen an ad, even though it may be boosted or not boosted, I've always shared it out for you and gotten really positive response. So I think it speaks to us if you have good service or great service when things are normal and you continue, you're just going to go gangbusters once people know, like, and trust you.
Thank you very much, Jane. And my theory has always been, and you know this, if you focus on quality, no matter what you do.
Oh no, the sound went off.
Ooh, mine?
Yeah.
Yours?
If you focus on quality, no matter what you do.
Yeah, if you focus on quality, no matter what you do, no matter what industry you're in, you will be successful.
Awesome. That's a great line to close off on. Thank you, Adrian. Okay, so if you want pizza, go to your app store, look for the 900 Degrees app and order your pizza. I'll be talking to Adrian. Maybe we can create an opportunity for you, and we'll be in touch with that in the future. In the meantime, check us out daily on weekdays from 4:30. We're going to have our community talks, and coming up, we're going to have some exciting other entrepreneurs coming to you to talk about how they've adapted and how they're serving you. And if you have any questions about real estate, you can just give me a call. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at RE/MAX Camosun. And my number is 250-744-0775. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and stay home. Have a great day.
Bye, Jane. Thank you.
Welcome.